What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nerd On. My name is Tom, joined by
Corey.
and we're going to be watching the new DC official Superman official teaser trailer. We're going to give you reactions after it and during. Let's get right into it and watch and see what's going on.
All right, here we go.
Oh, look, it's dark. It's the Yamcha pose.
Anyone who's seen Dragon Ball Z knows this. Oh, damn. All right.
Okay.
That's giving me obviously some classic Superman vibes, that shot.
Daily Planet. Okay. So he does bleed.
Do you bleed?
He does.
He does. Oh, okay. Right? The classic.
Okay, it's a little with the guitar riffy. Okay, we have the vest, but not the suit jacket for Lois.
The music there.
And the tight font
A lot
is
of homage. Tom.
yeah,
A lot of homage.
Yeah, the tight font is very Donner. That's a cool shot. I like that shot. Flannel Fathers.
Love that. Flannel Fathers. Oh.
I can't even whistle on a healthy day. That's a fast. It's probably crypto.
I mean, yeah.
It's probably crypto.
Crypto.
Yep. Oh, it looks good.
Home. Take me home.
It's cool. A little slow mo, but it's okay if the slow mo is here. Oh,
Yeah.
Luthor Corp, but not Lex Corp. Okay. I think he likes
dig
that
that shot.
that red jib camera movement shot. Oh. Public doesn't like Superman. Very original. Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There's. That's Metamorpho.
A lot to digest here.
This is terrific. Nice shot.
Okay, yep.
Into the sky. A lot of action with Lois Lane. All the Lois stands.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay. That's obviously a teaser, so it's a lot at you very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And not a lot of context. Tom, I'm going to start us off here.
Please.
Because I feel like I'm interested in what you want to say, and I don't want to have to try to remember what I have to say about this while I'm listening to you. Right off the bat, I'll say I was unsure about crypto. That's obviously the most investing part I was most invested in the whole trailer. I was like, I actually think it looks really good. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. But, you know, I loved a little bit of the cheese from the originals. But I wasn't sure if it was maybe just kind of the time. For this universe, the cheese feels okay. From what I see, at least the crypto stuff. I don't know about the rest of it. You know, at first when they showed Lois and him into obviously probably grappling with himself, I wasn't sure with the big monster in the background. I was like, hey guys, but you can see there's like green going on, so I'm sure the lanterns are taking care of it. There's got to be some reason that he's been either sent away or feeling like he's not helping. I will say this, visually I like it, but I've never had an issue with James Gunn's films visually, so that's not surprising to me. It's a lot to digest from a trailer. It's a lot packed into that. What is it, 2 minutes?
2 minutes and 19 seconds, yeah.
A lot of homage with the music and the different shots. The hustle bustle of New York, even though he's like 6'12" over everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking it so far from what I'm seeing. I am interested in seeing Lex. I can't off
Nicholas
the top of my
Hoult.
head. Thank you, Nicholas Hoult. I was like, Beast. I like him as an actor. I loved him in Warm Bodies. I loved him in X-Men. So I think he's got the range to pull this off. He's taken on some really
What a lovely
Mad Max.
day.
He's taken on some big roles with a lot of that could be hard for other actors to tackle. And I feel like Lex is one of those characters that could be hard to tackle. You could really fall into the cheesy Gene Hackman side of things if you go too far with the
Real estate schemes.
So yeah, those are my initial kind of just you know, the thing where you're drawing bubbles on a whiteboard and they're all just like just a real free flow thinking idea.
Yeah.
Tom, what do you got?
It's your reaction. This is a reaction thing, right? So
Yeah.
trying to draw insight into a trailer. Actually, it's so funny because I've been doing so many of these trailer reactions by myself. I'm just like, oh, okay, I kind of have formulated what I'm going to talk about. You know, okay, so if anyone isn't familiar with me or the channel, we've done a lot to cover the Snyderverse and DC stuff. I was quite formally known as the DC boy in the group and, you know, Capes Crusaders. So, I mean, there's a lot of fanfare going on about this and a lot of news and a lot of like synopsis stuff. So it's really hard to not glean a lot of information because what is Superman fighting against the JLA for? We have Green Lantern played by Nathan Fillion. We have Hawk Girl played by, I think it's Isabella Merced. You have Mr. Terrific. So it's like, who are these people? And they feel a little bit more antagonistic in the trailer. Spoilers for everybody who didn't know, but a little bit of prior synopsis is that ideally the JLA has been privatized in a corporate way through Luthor Corp, not Lex Corp. And the idea is that this Superman comes into a world where superheroes are much more like the boys, where they're kind of represented by
like Homelander and yeah.
And Superman is to remind the world that heroism is a, you know, kind of this old-fashioned just do the right thing. And to your point, it feels like there's a lot of having to split the middle, right? There's a lot of passionate fans like myself who were just in love with what Zack Snyder was doing, this mythological, grandiose reverence for these American figures.
Because they're often referred to as American gods, right? So like the comic book characters are
larger than
our
life
version of Zeus, that kind of thing. In a lot of studies, they're kind of referred to as our version of those.
Yeah, and you know, you have people like Batman and, you know, the Flash and Green Arrow, these, you know, human characters, you know, Achilles with their Hercules. There are heroes, but they ideally offer humanity a literary way to find what's good and right and wrong and teach us lessons of morality and what we can aspire to, and that's why they have this mythical sense to them. Instead of like the sci-fi sense that Marvel does, even though again this is the alien person. But anyways, you know, a lot of people are, but also a lot of people have a lot of reverence for the Christopher Reeves and Dick Donner, and I've seen just kind of this big uprise of like, you know, people just kind of forgetting everything else in between Reeves and Keaton till now, and it's kind of weird, and I can kind of see how Safran and Gunn have tried to, like, again, split that middle in that regard. To your point,
and that's not to say like Tom and I hold those Christopher Reeve ones very near and dear to our hearts, all of them, even the bad, even the quest for
there's
hope.
nothing wrong with trying to denuclearize weapons, you know. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, look, but to your point, like it has evolved and it's grown, and there are other stories out there that are worth watching as well. But yeah, it does feel like it's trying to split the difference.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the whole point, and you know, adaptations, right? Disney has adaptations of their own animated stuff, and the chance you do with adaptation is to right wrongs and also to modernize and then tell a modern story. Does it do it with this? We won't know. This is just a teaser, right? But what we can try to glean and see is, you know, I think something really cool I think no one's really talked about or going to talk about is camera work. And there's a lot of evolution you can see from James Gunn's work in between Guardians 2 to Suicide Squad to Guardians 3. And he has really fell in love with this digital camera that kind of sweeps the ground and then follows characters and rotates around them. Usually you use that to create parallax, but he uses it to try to create this interesting intimacy.
Momentum almost.
Yeah. Within the moment of that character.
Yeah.
Will that pan out? Will that work? It's going to be up to the execution of the film. Like, you can know the entire plot, but like how it plays out, I know a lot of people are going to be excited for it. There's just, I think, to me, key things like, you know, acts of heroism with action and saving people, and then, you know, the slow motion stuff is nothing new in the superhero genre for me. But I know that they might be the eye catches that people like. Not trying to get too long in the tooth here. Do I see David Cornswet portraying this character well? I mean, you see that there's going to be a lot of emotional scenes, but I think, Corey, you're a really good advocate of, like, sometimes it doesn't come across, right? The intention could be there, but sometimes it doesn't cross just in the way the edit works, right? There's different takes and, you know, how it comes together. I think, you know, it's interesting. You know, I was kind of making a joke of like, oh, Superman's going to have to face humanity and the population doesn't trust him and stuff like that. It's like, these are not themes that are also new to me. And for people who have remembered the last 20 years, you'll realize, like, not even last 20 years, last 10 years, you'll remember like, oh, these are things that we talked about, you know, before. And I think there are always going to be relevant themes in Superman. I think to your point, you know, very reminiscent of it. Like, yes, old school farmhouse, the Kent stuff, the Daily Planet is like, these are staples within the lore, but then the ideology and the conversation of Superman should always kind of be this sense of like, he is this refugee from another planet and is a stranger hiding amongst us, hiding in plain sight. Will humanity / America accept this person? You know, we go back to the original creators. You know, they were Jewish men who were trying to embody the ideals of the American people, but being these people who were escaping, you know, country from war, it was this question of like, well, can we truly be accepted and beloved, even if we were doing only good things for the world?
A hero specifically created for immigrants at the time.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people forget, and they always think, oh, he's just the American hero. It's like, the idea of the American body is like this melting pot and people coming together and they're different and they're celebrated for their differences. And I hope this happens. We'll skip through the crazy esoteric stuff. But I think her name's Rachel Brosnahan. I mean, you know,
we didn't get to see a whole lot of her in this, besides some more intimate moments, but her at the office, I like her look for the character, and knowing her past work, with my wife being a huge fan of Miss Maisel and all that kind of stuff, I think she's gonna nail this. I think she's gonna get the no nonsense journalist side of Lois Lane very well. She's got the talent. She has the acting chops for this role, and I'm excited to see what she brings to it. I wish we got to see a little more in this, but again, teasers.
Yeah, there's not any dialogue actually being said in this teaser, so it's one of those things like, to me,
there is
a little bit. Yeah, Take Me Home. It reminds me, it harkens to like video game trailers where it's only cinematics and no gameplay, where it's like, let me see how these characters play with each other. And obviously there's been a big focus on the romantic chemistry between these two characters. And this is a new era. As much as I love what happened before with the Snyder takes, I loved just the beginning of Batman vs Superman with Amy Adams. Like, they did not tell me a woman would do this interview. It's like, I'm not a woman, I'm a journalist, which is actually a paraphrase quote from a real life journalist who was covering wars. Yeah. And I think to me, that was the level of spunk and just attitude that Lois Lane should have.
Yeah.
This will be a different version for sure. This cannot, obviously, we can't replicate too much of prior. And I think to your point, like,
nor do we want to.
Yes.
Right?
Or else it just feels like a bad imitation.
Last thing I gotta ask, Tom, before we wrap this up, the suit. We have to talk about the suit. We now have seen the suit in action. We've seen obviously stills leading up to it. I know there was a big push for the trunks to come back, which I feel neither here nor there about trunks. I didn't miss them. I don't hate them. But I want to hear your thoughts on the suit so far in motion. I like it. I like the bright. I like the colors. For this universe, it really works. Again, big fan of the last one as well. But approaching this differently, which they need to do to make this work. Don't try to replicate what's come before. Pay homage, but pave your own way. I like how it's looking. I do like the trunks. I like the kind of clunkier boots. Don't bother me. I know there's been some talk online. I dig the vibrant colors. I'm here for it. I like the S on the cape. It reminds me of toys I had when I was a kid. I dig it.
For me, it's neither here nor there. I think to your point, I think it gets really a problematic thing with the suit because people put so much emphasis on it. You know, we're not in the what's his name, Peter, the producer for the Batman who's going to produce Superman Lives for Kevin Smith, who was like, I don't want the suit, no cape, no flying. It's like, you are kind of take away a lot of the distinguishable features of it. It's like, if it's blue, it's got an S, it's got a cape, we're good. We're cooking. But the focus on needing trunks, I think people lose the plot, right? The focus on like, what is the S? you're losing the plot here. I like a giant shield. To me, it's like it needs to be loud and in your face. It needs to be like this beacon in the sky of like that's the recognizable S.
A symbol.
Yeah. I could care less about Trunks. To me, I am going to be more interested. Again, it's like not what I see; it's how I experience it. Like, when does the suit come into play, and where does the suit come into play?
Yes.
I very much liked the. Again,
how does it serve the story?
Yeah, and some people are like, "Cool, I want my mom to make it," and it's like, "Cool, then why an S, right?" And then, are we going to explain why other Kryptonians are also having shields on their chest? Because did their mom make it? Their American mom in Kansas make it for them? Because that doesn't make sense. But again, in the Snyderverse, it's a house sigil. I'm like, that makes sense. It's cool. Here, we'll see how that plays out. And
see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I'm totally open to it, but I'm not gonna be like, you get a demerit because it was blah blah blah. I'm like, cool, how does this come through, and then how will this fit in this later universe? If it's homegrown, it's like because everyone else gets like issued suits from Luthor Corp, cool, but it's gonna be like, I wonder how Zod's gonna look. I wonder if Kara Zor-El is gonna have a shield too. It's like, where did that come from then? So we'll see. And this is all a world building thing. It's funny because even though this isn't the first movie of the DCU, the Blue Beetle one was, but it's like, this feels like a proper, you should do this, right? It's interesting that MCU was like Iron Man first, then Captain America, but okay, we'll see how this all works out.
See how it plays out.
Very last thing, score feels very in between Williams and Zimmer, which, again, it's
because it was Williams' score, right? That is what's playing, but on a electric guitar, which again, very was wild.
But yeah, we want to hear. Yeah, we want to hear what everyone in the comments think, what you guys think. It's always a conversation, discussion. I think as much as we like to talk about it and we like to be online, we're not authorities on thinking and taste and personality and opinions. It's a discussion, and it should be for everybody. So let us know what your favorite parts were. What do you think about it? If you think this is a good direction, bad direction, do you miss the old stuff? Do you want more Reeves stuff? Do you want less Reeves stuff in there? I'd love to hear it.
I think it's great. I mean, yeah. Let us know that we also love, once we get to ruminate on it, we have more ideas, and we'd love to discuss them with you in the comments, because this is just our run and gun, right? So yeah, meet us there. Tom, sing us out, man.
Cool. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. I know it's a little bit long for a 2-minute trailer, but this is the thing. We're not the super in fast, but you get a real, talk, a dive, an analysis into it from our own experiences. They're not just clickbaity stuff. But if you like what you saw, you liking what you're hearing, check out our other shows. Cardboard Champs is a Commander MTG show we're producing. Nerd on the Podcast is our longest show that we've been producing, and we also stream every week. Check out all the links below to help us out. Check out nerdon.tv/Patreon to support the show for as little as $1 a month. But other than that, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, stay hydrated. You know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.